In this lesson, we will be modeling multiplying decimals by whole numbers. First, set up the problem and solve to find the product. Notice that when I set up the problem, we did not include any decimals. Using your first color, shade the decimal from the problem in the number of hundreds blocks that match the whole number. So in this case, we have to shade in the color 32 because the whole number is 32. So you would color in 32 squares on the first block. Because we're taking it times 2, that means we're coloring in the same number on both blocks. Step 3, combine the total number of shaded blocks to match your product. So we need to color in the 32 from the first block and the 32 from the second block. This will give us a total of 64 blocks. Next, we write our answer. Because it's 64 out of 100, that tells us that it's 64 hundredths. Let's look at the next 4 examples. 75 hundredths times 3. This means we need to color 75 out of 100 on each of the first 3 blocks. Then combine those onto the blocks below. 75, 75, and 75. This means that we will have 2 full blocks and some on the third. Our answer will be 225 blocks colored in. But because we have those 2 decimal points, we know that 25 out of 100 is colored in off the third block, which is 25 hundredths. So 2 wholes and 25 hundredths. The next problem is 2 times 7 tenths. For this one, we are going to color in 7 tenths on each of our 2 blocks. Remember, multiplication is a commutative property. That means that we can switch the order of the numbers. The whole number can come first or second, and it would still give us the same answer. Next, we combine 7 tenths and 7 tenths on the grid below. That means 14 columns are colored in. So we have 1 whole and 4 tenths more for 1 and 4 tenths. Example 3 is 33 hundredths times 4. We need 4 blocks to start, and we are going to color in 33 squares on each of those blocks. Next, combine the 33 squares colored in onto the 2 blocks below. That means 1 whole block will be shaded in and 32 of the next block. That gives us 32 out of 100, so our decimal point will be 1 and 32 hundredths. Our last example is 5 tenths times 2. We need 2 blocks because we're multiplying times 2, and we're going to color in 5 tenths on each block. That means 5 columns on each block. Combine those onto the block below, and you will have 1 whole block colored in.